Hi everyone, Chris here, and today I wanted to continue talking about the hype cycle. And yesterday we talked about the innovation trigger, which is the first of the 5 stages in the hype cycle. And that's the trigger that generates interest in the innovation. So the next stage of the hype cycle is the peak of inflated expectations. And it's kind of the human nature that when we see something new, we get sort of captivated by the novelty of it all. So there's this giant uptick in interest after we notice something. And it's caused by a couple of things. I mentioned the novelty of basically anything new we tend to get excited about. And then the press sort of grabs a hold of this. Whatever this innovation is, this technology is, it starts to get a lot of attention. And we sort of have this fear of missing out, and the bandwagon effect jumps and sort of takes control of us as well. So you'll see a lot of people starting to say, well, we need because they have it. And, that's usually not very helpful because, as we know, new technologies and new innovations, they sort of have a slow and steady maturity rate. So there's a big delta, a big gap between where the expectations are and where the reality is. And in that gap, you're setting yourself up for a few different things in the future, and you can sort of guess what's coming after the peak of inflated expectations. They are inflated after all. It reminds me of after the economic crash when we heard about irrational exuberance. And that's kind of describes the peak of inflated expectations really well. People just get crazy for this stuff. Now, there is a lot of opportunity in the peak of inflated expectations. This is usually when a technology or an innovation gets massive visibility. So if you as an instructional designer or an instructional technologist have a good grasp of the reality of the technology and can teach about it or can use it or can integrate it, you can really put yourself at an advantage at this point. This is also a point where it's helpful to damper down some of these expectations and sort of reel people in, specifically about the costs and the time to payback. So you can gain a real advantage if you jump on early with a new technology, but the time to payback is often a lot farther down the road than people realize. It's one of these situations where we over anticipate what we're going to achieve in a year, but we under anticipate where we're going to be in 10 years. And this is the stage where if you understand that, you can set yourself up for great success. And if you don't understand that, you can really trip on your own 2 feet. So the peak of inflated expectations. Everybody's crazy for this innovation, and you're hearing about it everywhere. We're hearing it with blockchain is going to save everything, and VR in every kind of possible way to do things, augmented reality, and AI. Oh God, I'm hearing a lot about AI. Yes, well, this is all going to be solved once we get the AI engine in our learning. Really? This year? Next year? Not going to happen. But it's a great time to start learning about AI. So, the peak of inflated expectations, you have 2 opportunities. One is if you truly understand the technology, you can jump in and help people. And depending on where you are, if you can damper down the exuberance, you can help protect people as well. So those are the 2 things. So you can take advantage of the wave and help people navigate this new exciting thing. And 2, you can sort of calm the people down in your organization to keep them all realistic. So tomorrow we'll continue and we will talk about what comes next in the hype cycle, which is the reality check. When all of those inflated expectations start to clash with reality and what comes next. So I'll talk to you tomorrow.